I try to
Go
record
ahead,
as much
man.
as possible
Yeah.
because you say something amazing and you're like, why weren't we recording?
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, customer situation. Um, I was posting content and I thought it was, to help other sellers and coach other reps through the stuff that I've been through. And I didn't expect a customer to actually, be connected with something as deep as like a child with special needs and
Mhm.
sent me a DM. And I was like, if I didn't vulnerably tell my story, I wouldn't have made that connection. It's just helping build relationships with my current customer base, not like coaching other reps. So I'm like, poof, like this is, so of course I shared that with leadership and I'm like, see, this is another advantage. So yeah.
It's really interesting because if you're just kind of getting started in your call it content journey or whatever, um, I don't even know if that's the right way to say it, but like
Yeah.
if you're new to the LinkedIn party, you
Yeah.
may not have the scars of people telling you that's not about work, that's not appropriate for this channel. This is about work. Put it on
Yeah.
Facebook if it's about something else. And it's like,
Yeah.
but now what we're seeing, and we learned a lot of this, I think, really post COVID, because you got to see the inside of people's homes sometimes. You got to see them when they weren't perfectly pressed and ready for the office. And there's an attraction and there's a draw to this more personal content. And there is still a
Yeah.
line at which you are oversharing. There's no question about that.
Sure.
But you're
Sure.
so good about tying your personal stuff to your professional stuff that I think it's attractive. And quite frankly, it's something that I'm trying to learn to do to be better at because I came up at a time when I started my business and started posting my thoughts and everything where I was supposed to be an authority. I was supposed to speak declaratively. I was supposed to make very indelible points that people would have a response to. And look,
Mm.
it's earned me a reputation, and it's not one that's untrue, but it's not also the entire picture.
Hmm.
And, I
Yeah.
find myself looking, every once in a while, I'm like, people who hang out with me, I'm like, wait, I'm fun too, right? Like people laugh when they're around me. I'm not like this, I'm
And a
not this
great
driving
golfer, and
personality
a
all the
great
time.
golfer, as
Oh,
Mike Simmons would attest, right?
just a better golfer than Mike. Let's just make sure we know. Okay, that's what
All right.
right
Had
now.
to get that in, Mike, if you listen to this.
I will clip that just for him. Yes.
Yes.
But
Love you,
no,
Mike.
what's
I
interesting
hear
is
you, man.
since we met in October in Austin and we connected, and your story is so resonant. I've I learned a lot of lessons from that story. I learned lessons about resilience. I learned lessons about taking risks. I learned lessons about, man, just when you think you got it bad, there's someone who is out there crushing it, who had it worse in the past. And it inspired me. It's inspired me to take more risks. It's reminded me that I'm resilient in some ways, and I'm super appreciative to you for being willing to stand up in front of a group of strangers at that meeting and just and lay it all out there. I'm not just going to let that hang and then move on to my real
Mm.
question. I want to hear
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
like to hear your
Thank you, man.
response to that before we move to the question I really want to ask you.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. First of all, and not just saying this, this is like that means everything to me. Um, I was at a place, a few years ago. I won't go back through the story of overcoming. We've all been through stuff, and and that's what makes us grow, and that's what makes us who we are. And you don't realize it when you're in those seasons of pain. I'm big believer that we go through these seasons like much like leaves on a tree turn green, turn brown, fall off, die, grow. That's the way we are as humans, right? You can't grow. You can grow a little bit, but if you really want to grow and do good work and achieve big things, you got to go through the struggle, right? We're all going to struggle. It's You're going to struggle regardless. So you might as well struggle, pursuing good work and having a good purpose. And yeah, just I wasn't nervous going into the summit until like the night before we all got together and I'm like, everyone's high-fiving and glad-handing and nicknaming and I'm like, whoa, these dudes know each this is like a fraternity and I have to pledge and giving my talk is like the pledge, so don't F it up. So I'm glad I didn't F it up, but it was an awesome experience, man. Just it's not easy to put yourself out there, and I've gone through a lot of soul searching to do that, and I honestly get, I'm not gonna get emotional, but I get my strength and power from G, right? From my daughter. She's nonverbal, so I'm like, I don't have any right to hold back my words if she can't use hers.
Mm.
Period.
Wow.
Full stop. Like
Wow.
I don't have any right.
Yeah.
So that's how I'm operating now. She gives me the courage, and I'm grateful for her for that.
And you have her photo in your squat rack in your basement, right? Is that what I'm
Yep.
recalling? Okay.
I mean, if you want me to turn the screen around, they're everywhere. But yeah, this is a Father's Day card
Uh-huh.
she made me. So that's her. So she communicates by touching pictures on a screen on an iPad.
Hmm.
So this was Dad is sweet, terrific, trustworthy, silly, and wonderful.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, she's on the squat rack too. I did legs this morning, and I was like, I don't want to do this. I was like, oh, she's watching me. I can't let her down.
There
But
are a few places you feel more
yeah,
connected with your own mortality than in a squat rack. I can attest to that.
yeah, especially when you're 48 and your knees are shit. So yeah, especially when you've had ACL surgery and a tibial osteotomy. I can't even say it. It hurts, man. But if I stop, I won't be able to start again. So I can't
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, we can talk about HTOs and ACL reconstructions and
yeah,
other
yeah, yeah.
acronyms later.
HTO.
That's
Wow, you know the acronym
oh
too, man. That's
oh
impressive.
I
Not many
grew up
know
in
that one.
sports medicine. I've been in I sold hardware and implants for those situations and for those surgeries. So
Wow.
yeah, we've got more to talk about later. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
since I've met you, um, and a couple of other people, at that meeting, and Taylor being one of them too. He and I have connected a couple of times. But like I think about some of the stuff I see, and I have a new person to send memes to, and things like that, right? And one of the
Yeah.
things, this is funny. I actually thought I was sending you something, and it turned out I sent it to a different Mike Sullivan in my contact list, so that was funny.
Joe
But
Smith, Mike Sullivan. It's similar.
um, but
Few of them.
the thing that kind of brought us together today, and I wanted to bat it around with you. You posted something a couple of weeks ago about just feeling the pressure. And it was the first of the year. And hey,
Hmm.
counter goes to
Hmm.
zero. And all of a sudden, I've got to fill in the blank here with another big number to hit. And it's not that I don't believe that I can hit it. It's that when you're at the base of the mountain again, you look up and you're like,
Yeah.
and then you think about G and you think about your family and you think about all the pressure on you, the expectations of you. I'm the primary breadwinner in my home too, and that's it carries with it its own substance, if you will. And
Hmm.
I was actually having a conversation with my therapist. I think it was New Year's Eve. And if there's never a better time to have a conversation, have a therapy appointment than New Year's Eve. You're already in a great mind frame. And we actually talked about my progress, which was really cool. But she says something, and I said, hold on. It was a virtual appointment because well, there were people in the house that were sick, so we did virtual instead of in person. And so I said, hold on. I went over here to my whiteboard and I wrote it down. And I wrote it down, and then 2 days later, I think I sent it to you. I said,
Hmm.
she said, there is no new wisdom in
Hmm.
pressure thoughts.
Damn. That is
Huh.
like, did she go like this afterwards?
Ah, she should have. I think she knew what she was doing, but she played it cool.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Like,
No new
what do you
wisdom
think
and
of?
pressure thoughts. Can we sit with that in silence for a minute?
Please.
No, there is no new wisdom in pressure thoughts. Phew. That is, that's good, man. That, yeah, I think the pressure's always going to be there. It's how we use it, right?
Mm,
You can either
keep
use
going.
it, you can either use it to it's same with like fear, same with doubt, right? It's like I think when you're inexperienced and you haven't been through that stuff can easily, and it will, I think that's part of the learning process, is it will stop you and bring you to your knees like it did to me. And it kept me safe and it kept me not betting on myself and taking the easy route up until like, mid to late 30s. And I suffered because I made, safe decisions and I let fear and doubt and the pressure hold me back. Fear of failure, fear of judgment. But then once I got on the other side of my storm, the other side of my pain, I realized you just got to turn around and face that shit head on and take action. And then you realize, what the hell was I afraid of? It wasn't even that scary. It wasn't even that. It's amazing how the mind can mess with you. So I love that. And I love what you said to me when I was DMing you. What you said, honestly, you picked me up because I was like, you were like, you got to stay. You were basically like, you know what to do. Stay. I forget the exact words, but I think you said something like, you know what to do. Stay in the arena and get up to bat. You know, I was like, that's all I got to do. The best part about having someone in your corner, a coach, a consultant, a friend like you, is like they help you spot things that are right in front of your face. Like we are the answer, we already know like what the friggin' answers are. Like your therapist, she said that, and your spotlight just went like zoom. Yep, there's the answer. It was right there. But she helped me see it. So, man, that's powerful.
It it was
I love that. I might need a
it,
referral. I might need a
uh,
referral for
you don't live in the state of Michigan, unfortunately. Otherwise, we could do this in person and you
I'm in
could talk to
another
her.
ham. I'm in Massachusetts. That's good enough, right?
I think there's a licensure requirement that we're outside of, but you know,
How do you feel
there's
about it? How did you feel when she said that? Like what thoughts did it kick off in your brain?
the similar thread to what you just pulled on in that the pressure has a value. And what I thought about, and I think some of it probably was the context that she provided immediately, but as I think about it right now, the pressure has a value. It makes a statement. It adds weight and heft and breadth to the endeavor that we're embarking upon, right? We've got a job to do. We've got numbers to hit. We've got people to care for, support, provide for. But at some point, you just have to recognize that, yeah, it's hard. Okay, now what? And I think there are a lot of people, breadwinners, non-breadwinners. My wife and I talk about this all the time. She's got pressure too. It's just from a different place. There are different
Sure.
expectations of her than there are of me, everything else. But we all have our pressures. And I think about this a little bit more broadly with other things that are outside of our control. That pressure is marginally within our control. It is going to exist. There's very little we can do to change it, yet it is still there. It's not totally productive to just ignore it and avoid it. But
Hmm.
at some point, you have to recognize it, appreciate it for what it is, and then compartmentalize it. Because if you just wake up every morning thinking pressure, 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 that takes you out of that state where you feel you're able to take appropriate risks, where you feel you're
Hmm.
able to try that new thing, where you feel like, in your case, look, you got a pressure on you to hit your number, and it's like, well, okay, now I'm going to give personal information to strangers on the internet. Is that the right thing to do? That's a risk that you have taken. But as you mentioned, you're like, it's having positive impacts. I'm recognizing communities of people that not only can I support, but they can support me. I'm recognizing that my customers are seeing a new side of me that is deepening our relationship.
Hmm.
And like, and there's another thing about vulnerability in relationships that I can go to later when I'm done with this thought, but the willing to take that risk. If all you're thinking about is pressure, you probably would have played it safe and not taken that risk. You probably would have just said, you know what? I've been in the arena for 8 years. I've never missed a number, and I've never had to do this before to hit it. So let me ignore it. And again, it's one of those outside forces. If we don't then take the initiative to just say, okay, now what? Then we're missing out.
Hmm.
And another
Love
thing that
that.
my therapist said in another appointment And I totally agree with your acknowledgement that having a third person that you trust, third party that you trust to just see the things that are right in front of your face. She's like, yeah,
Massive.
Jeff, it's hard. What if instead of, or it's heavy, what if instead of holding it out at arm's length, we sat it in our lap?
Mm.
It's just as heavy, but it's easier to hold.
Mm. Wow.
Okay. Like,
Yeah.
send me another invoice, right? Like, I mean, but that's, I think
That's
that's the
good.
difference between, and you work with high performers, you are a high performer, obviously, but like, that's the difference. It's not that they're holding less, they're holding it more easily,
Mhm. Yeah.
partially because they've become the person that can hold it, but partially because they're not holding it in the most difficult way possible.
Right. Yep. I love that. Man, do we
I think,
end? I don't know where to go. I'm afraid to speak after that because you that was absolute fire, man.
well,
Yeah.
just, yeah, speak your
Pressure, I
mind.
mean,
What?
yeah. Pressure that I mean in like a real life example of pressure and like in the roles that we're all in and needing to chase numbers is like I honestly I care about my quota, but I don't care about it. I've so disassociated from it because I know it's not in my control, right? It's not. And our managers don't want to hear that, but it's truthfully not. We can't control inflation. We can't control reorgs. We can't control our champion leaving when the contract is in DocuSign. We can't control political landscape, macroeconomic. There's so much we can't control as sellers, but we still have to show up every day and do the job like we can. And what I've always tried to simplify things into is like control the controllables.
Yeah,
What are the
perfect.
things within my control? It's like we can control this thing. We can control our attitude and our mindset by choosing the right thoughts from right when we wake up. Like what I do an exercise every morning when I wake up. I have this like meditation prayer. It's not a religious prayer. It's this thing I say to myself
Hmm.
because we're at our weakest moments, like right when we wake up, because we're groggy, family needs things. We start thinking of our day, emails. So I like wake up and I like proactively block out the crap that's going to try to come in by saying this prayer that I've said to myself for like decades. Um, and so anyway, attitude's one, right?
Hmm.
Mindset, that we can control that. Obviously, our actions and the habits and the rituals, routines, right? What we're feeding our mind, what we're feeding our body, the reps we're putting in, making sure they're intentional reps with our day job and our sales activities and all that stuff. And then effort, like what effort are we putting in? Are you going through the motions? Are you showing up and just going through the motions? Or are you like intentionally getting after it? Like those are the three things I focus on. Attitude, actions, effort. Quota happens, great. If it doesn't, we're still gonna be okay. My family's still gonna believe in me.
Hmm.
We're still gonna have a good life. Health, as long as we have our health, we're good. Like it's always like keeping things in perspective, the pressure. And it's a privilege. My one of my first bosses used to say, Sully, pressure is a privilege. I was like, oh, that's pretty good. So play that one back on your therapist next time. Next time
Yes.
she gives you a zinger, be like, hey, guess what? Pressure's a privilege. She'll be like, oh,
Mic drop, and I'll leave the office.
yeah,
I'll send her
yeah,
an invoice.
exactly.
The thing that you said there, I think, is really important. You know, your attitude, your actions, and your effort. And if we bring this back to a sales context, those are the things that put you in position to win, because that's all you can do. You can
Exactly.
you can get the deals, you can send the DocuSign. You can get the deal to the point that it's ready to be signed. You cannot make the person actually sign it. And
Right.
and that's where it really becomes, and this is another discussion for another time, but when we decide to define for ourselves what enough looks like, and we use all the available data to determine what that number, what that feeling, what that is, you have to recognize that there will always be things that are outside of your control. And when you try to take too much ownership or responsibility for things that you do not or have not earned ownership over. That's where we end up over our skis. That's where we end up in poor mental health. That's where we end up losing focus again on the things that we can
Right.
impact and affect. And all you can do is put yourself in position to win. I like to
Yeah.
use the golf example. You can be leading the tournament going into Sunday, go shoot a number that should win, but someone sets the course record behind you
Mhm.
and beats you by 2 strokes. What are you going to do? That person had a day,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
it's
Absolutely.
that happens in sales all the time.
Golf is such a great uh, example of how much the mind controls the outcome. You know,
Hmm.
it's just you can just such a good example. You know, you see these guys going in with a 5 shot lead and then just one ball goes in the water, one ball goes in the crowd, and then things start to unravel. It's such a great example.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's surprising why I'm decent at sales and I suck at golf. You know, I should be kind of decent at golf, but I don't know.
There's that should word. How much do you
Yeah.
practice?
Yeah. I should all over myself when it comes to golf.
Yeah, I remember, and I'll tell you this story before we wrap real quick. I was playing golf with a woman friend of mine who like is a senior amateur golfer. Like she wins tournaments here in Michigan. I mean, she's very decorated and just an incredible, just a really cool human too. But
Yeah.
anyway, we were playing one time, and I took risk, and hit this shot over water, and it didn't make it.
Hmm.
And she said, "Why are you so mad at yourself?" I said, "Well, I should have hit a better shot." She said, "Jeff, when's the last time you practiced that shot?" I said, "Never." She's like, "Quit your griping. You don't deserve to expect to hit that
Yes.
shot if you've never
Yep.
practiced it."
Yeah.
Thanks,
So true.
Shelley.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm gonna go
yeah.
over here and drop, right? And
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of thing. It's,
The reps. You got just every life is reps.
mm,
Sales, to get good in sales, put in the reps. To get in better shape, put in the reps, obviously, right? To be a better runner, you got to run, right? To be better at writing on LinkedIn, you got to write more on LinkedIn. Giving myself like a boost there. Got to write more on LinkedIn. But it's like anything. It's freaking reps. You know, there's no my favorite saying is the secret is there's no secret. Like there's no friggin' hack to make $1 million a year in sales. There's no secret hack to there's no secret. It's the frickin' boring shit that you don't want to do, showing up to do it, and don't quit. Put in the reps, don't quit.
perfect way to end it.